Hello everyone and welcome back to the Perfect French with Diane. Today we are going to learn everything about the articles un, une, des, which we call articles indéfinis. If you have the book, you can open it on page 13. Today we are going to focus on page 13 and 14. Probably the most teacher thing I said since I started my channel. You can open your book page 13. So I like to see those articles before even seeing the gender of noun. So in French, nouns have genders. They're either feminine or masculine. We don't have a neutral. And because of that, the articles in front of the nouns are going to change depending if it's masculine singular, feminine singular, plural, masculine plural, feminine plural. But why do I like to start with un, une, des? Because with un, une, des, it's very easy to see if the noun is masculine or is feminine. Of course, it doesn't work if it's there, we'll see that in a minute. But just one thing, when you study vocabulary, always study with the article un or une in front, depending if it's feminine or masculine. It will really help you to remember the gender of the nouns that you study. So un, une, des translate to a, an, and some. Once again, when you don't always use articles in English, we do use them in French. Sometimes the translation is a bit off, especially when I make lists, because you will not always add an article in front of this noun, but I try my best to make it, let's say, clear. Easy to understand. So when do we use indefinite articles? We simply use them to talk about unspecified things or people. The exact same way as in English, don't worry, it's really not hard. So if we see masculin singulier, so masculine singular, we are going to use un, un, un. So we have un garçon, a boy, or un appartement, un appartement. Here I chose this example on purpose. If you follow my pronunciation course, you know everything about it already, but in French we don't have a different spelling in the article depending if the noun starts with a consonant or vowel. In English we have a boy and then we have an apartment, okay? In French we don't have a change in spelling, but we do have a change in pronunciation. Un garçon, the two words have nothing in the middle, un garçon, but we add a liaison between un and appartement because appartement starts with a vowel. So, un appartement, okay? So we don't have a change in spelling, this is very important. And then if we look at the feminine singular, we have une fille, and then une orange. So here you can also link the two words, une orange. The plural for masculine and for feminine are exactly the same, and they are des, D-E-S. So when you study, always study with un and une because it's very easy to see if it's feminine or masculine. You have to study the gender of noun. We are going to see that in the next lesson, I believe. Yes, correct, in the next lesson. But always study with an article, it's very important. So let's go back to plural. We have des garçons. Des garçons. Some boys. I told you, sometimes I added the article in English when it doesn't really look good, but I still added it just to make sure that it was very clear. Or we have des appartements. Des appartements. We have the exact same thing as un appartement. We also have a liaison here. Des appartements. If you want to know more about all that, you can go back to my pronunciation course. And if we look for feminine, we have des filles, or des oranges. So some girls and some oranges. So as you see, when we use un, une, des, we don't really know exactly what we are talking about, which one specific orange or girl or apartment we are talking about. If you say an apple, une pomme, I bought an apple, you don't know exactly which one it is. You cannot point it out, okay? This is just that. Unspecified things or people. But what if there is more than one noun in the sentence? If we look at the sentence that we took at the beginning, je mange une pomme, I'm eating an apple, and then we add une poire. Je mange une pomme et une poire. Je mange une pomme et une poire. Okay, always add an article in front of the noun. I see that a lot with French learners. I corrected so many tests when there is no article in front of the noun. Always add an article in front of the noun. So like I said, de is not always going to be used in English. For example, if you want to say I have lice, I do not have lice, but if I want to say that, I will say j'ai des poux. J'ai des poux. Okay, the de is the article. But in English, I have lice. Okay? There will be no exercises today, but there will be tomorrow, a lot of them. So don't be too sad. Don't forget to go download the little audio for today. It's also very short, but it was a short lesson. So you have that to practice your listening skills. I will see you tomorrow to learn the gender of noun. À demain.